Great. So you're talking about the founder of ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. His name is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So he is a writer of many, many spiritual books. He was a sannyasi. He was a special soul who was a torch bearer of spiritual enlightenment to so many fallen souls in this world, not only in India, but in many, many countries, many, many continents, across many, many continents, and many, many religion across many, many, ethnicity. So he was the one who was able to guide them towards Krishna, was able to get them out of their measureless life that they are living, out of the sinful life that they were living, and they have directed towards Krishna. So everybody started loving him, and everybody started loving Krishna just because they they heard from Srila Prabhupada. Me and you were not here. I was not speaking, you were not listening. If Prabhupada would have not established ISKCON, Prabhupada have not given a mercy, given the current, a flow of spiritual enlightenment to all of us through Guru Parampara. Because of that, we are right now here. So Prabhupada, his name was Abhay Charan De, and he was born in Kolkata in 1896. He was born into a Bengali mercantile who was dealing in salt and gold, but he was also into Gaudiya Vaishnavism. He was following Mahaprabhu's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instruction. And who was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So tomorrow's class is solely and wholly dedicated to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is none other than Krishna. How we can say that? We'll get to know in tomorrow's class. Please don't miss it. So his family was a follower of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gaudiya Vaishnavism. And the importance of that, in the family culture was such a way that when the father and mother was following the devotional service, Srila Prabhupada, Abhay Dey at that point of time, was very much interested seeing their father and mother are worshipping Krishna, they are going to temples and they're chanting the holy names, they are living a life of blissfulness. That attracted Srila Prabhupada. And he asked his father, Father, can I get a deity of Radha Krishna, my personal deity? I'll worship them. So his father agreed. And then he was given his own deities in the form of Radha Krishna, and he used to worship them. So this is the importance of family culture. Whatever we are doing, our children will see. They will not do what we say. They will do what they see. So we try to follow that conduct which we think our children should have it. Coming back. Yeah. So when he was studying in a Scottish Church College in Kolkata, where and it is about pre-independence, and the majority of these colleges were missionary colleges, and English was of paramount importance in these colleges. So Abhay Charan, they learned English. He gained the proficiency in English. At the same time, he was learning Sanskrit, right? So he learned Sanskrit and English both there. His mother wanted him to go to London and have higher studies, but his father refused because at that time the age was full of hippies and materialists. So he was so fearful that if he goes to London, he'll acquire bad habits and we might lose him from the path of spirituality. Eventually, so uh, mother agreed to that, and he started, studying in India. And he was very much influenced by Mahatma Gandhi in his non-cooperation movement, as in that era, many of the youths were inspired to get the, the, the independence from the British Raj, so as no different than Abhay Charan De. He was also inspired. But he started his pharmacy business after the graduation. So that was a little bit about the introduction of Abhay Charan De or Srila Prabhupada. We're talking about his spiritual life. When in 1933, he got initiated with his spiritual master, His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. And who was this personality? So if you would have heard about Gaudiya Math, right? There are many Gaudiya Math across the countries. So that was initiated by His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. He was the one who established all of them. So Srila Prabhupada, when met his Guru Maharaj, when, at that time he was not Guru Maharaj, he was quite influenced by his character, his personality, his teachings, the way, the identification of real problems and the solutions from the Bhagavad Gita and scriptures. He got very much inspired and he thought of following him. So he started following him. He started to attend his lectures, uh, doing what he's been teaching to him about the devotional service. And sooner he got initiated in the year of 1933, and he got the name Abhay Charanad Vrind. So when he was doing his practices, so in the there is the importance of spiritual master instructions in the disciple successions. So whatever is the order of spiritual master, that has to be fulfilled. That is instruction of your life. You should sacrifice everything to fulfill that desire. That is what is expected if you become a disciple of a spiritual master. Because spiritual master will not give you any, ABC instructions. He will give the instructions which, according to your own capacity, you can do it, as well as what is in line with expectation of Krishna from us. So when his Guru Maharaj met Abhay Charanarvind and he got to know that he's well versed with English and Sanskrit, he got impressed and he said, I give you instruction. What is instructions? You translate these books, the scriptures, holy scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and many others, into English and take it to the Western world to teach them about Bhagavad Gita, about Krishna, so that their sufferings can be curtailed. They can be coming out of the misery. Because what was happening in those days in Western world? There was a culture of hippie. There was a culture of war, World War One, World War Two, right? So all these things were very much provocative for everyone, and nobody was living in peace. So every higher soul understand the problem that if things are not good in society, what should be done? Instead of changing the superficial thing, we should work on the consciousness of people. If the consciousness of people are changed, there will be no problem in the society. There will be no old age. There will be no, there will be no orphanages around you. There will be no deforestations because the consciousness is changed. So that was the vision of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. And that's what he has given it to Abhay Charanarvind, that you take the books, you translate it, and take it to the Western world. So that was the instruction. But at that time, he does not have sufficient fund. At that time, he was not thinking that he's qualified enough. Right. So that is another quality of a disciple. A disciple never feel in front of the guru that he is more, qualified than his guru. So he always felt that he is short of the qualifications to do this. But that's the order of spiritual master. So Srila Prabhupada used to say, you can, postpone the order of spiritual master, but you should never neglect it. So that's what he did. In the age of 1939, when he got initiated, after that he got the title of Bhakti Vedant. Bhakti Vedant means who have understand the principles of devotional service to the fullest of the capacity. So his colleagues have given him this title. And then going forward, after 11 years, he accepted Vanaprastha. Now, what is Vanaprastha? In Hinduism, we have 4 Varnas, which is Brahmacharya, Grihast, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. So, Brahmacharya is technically, if I have to draw parallel to today's world, that is the student life. And then the next comes is Grihastha life, which is a married life. Then the third is called Varnaprastha. So the Varnaprastha is After you have enjoyed this material life, your married life, enjoyed with son, property, earning, all those kinds of sense pleasure that you can arrive out of your that ashram, you have to leave all that because at that point in time they were necessary, but now it has become a chain, so it should be break. So then one ashram is where you get detached to everyone, you leave your family, you leave your wife, you leave your son, and practice devotional service in seclusion with devotees at the holy place so that you yourself gets purified. Once you do all that, then you arrive, you reach towards a sannyas. That is not sannyas. So in 1955, after 9 years of varnaprasth, he took sannyas and he stayed in Vrindavan. And what did he do staying there? Was he just sitting there doing nothing? No. He was translating the books. That was the part of the order of his spiritual master. He was translating the books, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, with him. And he was crying desperately because it is not like that in the past when he was, when he was younger, he has not tried to create something and build an organization. He tried many organizations in India, but it all failed. Nobody was interested in his mission. Nobody was interested to learn about Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, absolute truth. They were not interested at all. So he failed. So he used to cry in Vrindavan, his ashram, saying, I have failed, my Guru Maharaj, I have failed you. I tried a lot, but somehow I failed you. Please bless me. Tell me, how can I do it? Now I have reached at the age of 69. What should I do? I know I'm getting older, but then I want to fulfill your desire. I want to fulfill your instructions to me. I cannot let it go. Though I'm getting old, that was his determination. That was his passion. That was his Guru Bhakti, his dedication towards his Guru. And that should be the love of every disciple in this world towards his Guru. So the third section in this life came as a mission. So at the age of 69, he decided finally that I will go to the Western world and I will take the scriptures with me and I will follow the instructions of my Guru Maharaj. Then, at the age of 69, from Kolkata, he took a cargo ship named Jaladuta from Kolkata to New York. And somebody who has always stayed in this land, for them, a journey via ship comes with a lot of baggages, a lot of problems. So, a couple of days when he started his journey, he fell into seasickness. He could not understand what is happening with his body, and there was no doctor there. So he was suffering 2 days from it. Slowly, when his body got used to of the sea, it became normal. But what was following after that? 2 cardiac arrest or heart attacks in 2 days at the age of 69. And when all these things were happening, he was just praying to Krishna, Krishna, you have chosen me to be the disciple of my Guru Maharaj. You have chosen me to surrender you. You have chosen me to talk about you, to give your love to everyone. I'm not sure why it's happening to me, but I will not give up. Prabhupada write all these things in his diary. And he used to say that I miss Vrindavan, I miss everyone. I miss the Radha Damodar temple where I used to stay there. But then here I am on a journey to follow the order of my spiritual master. Then slowly, day passed and he was able to recover his health. Then they were crossing Atlantic Ocean. And when he crossed the Atlantic Ocean, it was so calm. The captain said that in my entire life, I have never seen Atlantic Ocean so calm. Looks like somebody has bind him. That was the mercy of Krishna. And that was the power of the prayers. When you are sincerely following the power, following the prayers, following your instructions, following devotional service, and you're praying to Krishna, Krishna will help. So they were able to cross the Atlantic Ocean and they have reached New York. And from New York, now it's completely new country, new city. Nobody knows you. So where do you stay? So few of the devotees who were who were impressed by Prabhupada in India, they had given him the ticket for Jaladuta. They have sponsored their visa. They have also given some contact that you can spend few days in in New York. So there was one Agrawal family which helped them to stay with them. So he stayed with a couple of people there. But the problem was in those days as well, the meat eating and particularly beef eating was very common in the US. And sannyasi of that stature and that standard can never compromise on his way of living. But since Prabhupada was living in their house, he compromised with the way of living, but not on the principles. So if in the fridge you have veg next to beef, a sannyasi will not accept it. But Prabhupada accepted it. Why? Because principles are important. But what is more important than the principles is the higher purpose. What are you trying to achieve? If you want to do that something, so you should compromise, few things here and there, and that should not be a problem. So he was flexible on these things, but he has never compromised on his principles. He has not touched it. So day passed, week passed, and then Prabhupada wanted to teach people about Bhagavad Gita and Krishna, but then who would listen? He tried talking to people, but then nobody was listening. Because what was happening in the Western world these days, those days? The hippie movement. Who were the hippies? Hippies were the one who used to do all kind of intoxication on the road, who used to do open sex, who used to, break all the rules of the society. They used to live carefree, tension free. You know, that was their way of life. They used to, reject the rules of the society, which the society expect them to do. So those hippies, right? They were indulging in their daily activities when Prabhupada met them. When Prabhupada met them, Prabhupada asked them, "What do you do?" He said, "We love intoxication. That's what we do. And we are very proud for it." Prabhupada says, "Okay, so you take this and you get high. Then when this comes down, then what? Then nothing. Then we stay low for a while. And then we again take it when we get some money. And then we again go high." Then Prabhupada said, "So you're saying your high is not consistent, not regular?" I said, "No." Prabhupada said, "I can give you a toxic, I can give you, a nasha that can stay with you lifelong, life after life, and continuous. Would you like to taste that?" Hippie says, "Yes, if there is something like that, let me taste it. Let us taste it." And then Prabhupada told them about few principles of devotional service. And they kind of got agreement with Prabhupada. They did not rejected those principles, but at the same time, they were like, "Okay, we are listening and we should observe it." So they given some place to Prabhupada to stay. So Prabhupada used to stay with hippies there. And then what was he doing? He used to teach them how to chant. He used to cook prasadam, gulab jamun for them and offer it to Lord Krishna and give prasadam to them. Slowly, slowly, when they started chanting, taking prasadam, listening from a divine soul like Srila Prabhupada, their heart transformed. And then they could feel that there is no need for me to do this cheap intoxications, because I have got a higher taste. What is a higher taste? If you used to drink a low level of, liquor, and you got a very, very epic, very dated, aged liquor, You like that, right? That is called a higher taste. So Prabhupada given them the higher taste. And what was this taste? From materialism to spiritualism. So they got the taste of spirituality. So all of them started with Prabhupada, listening to him, chanting, they got transformed, and they become the first disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Those were the few disciples, very first disciples. And then they were trying to talk to many other people, different people about the same thing, what they were being taught by Srila Prabhupada. And then they arranged some donations. They're able to create few temples. And then Prabhupada decided, now is the time that this movement I will register. Why he has not registered that in India? Because the disciples were from US and he was there. And there was a momentum that he didn't want to lose. So he didn't wait for him to come back to India and do something up. And he was there with the name. And his name was International Society for Krishna Consciousness, or ISKCON, we call it. He registered there as entity in US. But his disciples used to say, Prabhupada, it's very dangerous. Why can't we use International Society for God Consciousness? It will be very, very vocal and everybody will be able to understand what exactly it means. Prabhupada was very firm on the principle. He said, no more cheating. Everybody should know who is God. No more generic description of God. What's happened in Bible is the generic description of the God. There is a God. He stays in heaven, right? And we should oblige him. We should worship him. What is the name of God? It's not there. How does he look like? It's not there. His description is not there. His pastimes, what does he do? It's not there. His partners, it's not there. So it's like a pocket dictionary. And then our Bhagavatam is Oxford Dictionary. It has many, many, many more details, or many, many more words than the pocket dictionary. So then everybody decided that, yes, we'll put the name as International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And they did that. And then everybody was following four regulative principles. So what is four regulative principles? So if you get deeper into our scriptures, you'll understand that there are four things that we are not expected to do. These are prohibitory things. If we do that, our materialism increases and the consequences is suffering eventually, and the spiritual quotient will go down. So those four regulative principles, first is no meat eating. You should not eat meat. And for the matter of fact, we should not eat onion and garlic as well, because it increases the material quotient in your body, in your consciousness. So no meat eating. Second, no intoxication of any kind, including tea or coffee. Third, no illicit sex. So sex is something which is given to in one of the ashram, in Grihastha ashram. Neither a student can, a brahmachari is allowed to do that, nor varnaprastha, nor a sannyasi. It's been given only to one particular ashram, married life. And then we should not abuse it. We should not go outside of our marriage and do that. That is third regulative principles. And what is the fourth one? Anybody would like to guess?
No gambling.
Right. No gambling. Because gambling is something which nobody has control and it brings anxiety in you, right? The more you are anxious, the more, the lesser you are at peace. So everybody in ISKCON and those principles, they were following these principles created by Srila Prabhupada. Now, after they have got some movement, they have created few temples. So in the short span of 7 to 8 years, Prabhupada has established 108 temples across the globe. And remember, he is doing all this at the age of 69 with only 40 rupees when he left from India to New York. It's not an easy thing. He's being blessed by Krishna. And he has traveled around the globe many, many times to preach about Krishna consciousness. He has sent his disciples to many, many countries. He has sent his disciple to China, Russia, many, many countries. Now, if you see outside India, where is the most population of devotees which are non-Indian? In Russia. In Russia, we have more than 3 lakh devotees. For them, Krishna is an alien. Why do we believe Krishna? But they are loving Krishna. Many, though the government does not want them to learn Krishna because the government there is communist and they believe the idea of atheism. There is no God. So they don't want this to flourish. But Bhakti movement is flourishing in Russia, in China, in Korea, in Europe, right? Now, what was the learning of Srila Prabhupada? Srila Prabhupada was proponent of Achinta Bheda Bhed philosophy. What is this philosophy? So this philosophy was given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where he says Achinta. Achinta means which we cannot conceive by our rational mind. We cannot think, visualize, imagine, but it's there. Bheda, difference, abheda, non-difference. So he says that our relationship with the Supreme Lord is Achinta Bheda Bhed. We are simultaneously one and different with the Lord, and we cannot think how is it possible. That was his philosophy. And then he used to break down the Mayavad and impersonalism because there were few sannyasis that time. They used to say, even at this point of time as well, they used to say that, God has no form, God is impersonal, there is just a light from which everything is emanates. And he used to break down those Mayavadis with the help of Shastras, with the help of scriptures. He was master in that. And he was very much liberal because if you have heard in older ages or older times, a son of a Brahmana is called Brahmana, irrespective of if he has got the qualities of a Brahmana. He was not allowed, if you have qualities of a Brahmana, you were not allowed to become Brahmana. Those were, misogynist and, uh, you know, different kinds of ill ill thoughts was proponent by few Brahmanas who wants to keep this as their own territory. So Prabhupada proved them by Bhagavad Gita that Krishna says that the Varnas is decided by your karma, by your psychophysical nature, not by your birth. That's what he did. Because all of them, his first disciples, many of them become sannyasis, but they are not Brahmins. Many organizations, many Hindu schools these days in India, they still, don't follow it. They reject that idea. But then Prabhupada was very clear in this philosophy that everybody is a soul. A Brahmana is on a bodily level. We are a soul first. And the soul is never separated from Krishna. His primary duty is to serve Krishna. Does not matter in which country you are born with. Does not matter which kind of upbringing you're raised with. You can become Brahman. And he did that. Now, after he got the success in the West, now it was time to come to India. And in 1970, he came to India and started temples. And then his disciples, his foreign disciples, used to wear dhoti kurta, and Mataji's females used to wear saris. And then they used to go into streets of Mumbai doing kirtan. And the Indians were thinking, what is happening? We are shifting towards pants and they are shift and from which we have learned this, they are shifting towards dhoti. What is happening? Right? So this puzzled them that something that we are not doing right. And at that point in 70s, there was a lot of influence of the Western culture. Whatever West used to do, we would like, I will also do that. They're having a car, I will also do that. They are smoking, I will also do that. All this thing they were going to follow. The few people they got influenced, right? If they are following Krishna, probably we are the one who are stupid, right? If we are not following him, so they started following them. And slowly, slowly, the congregation of India increased. And now we have many, many, many temples in India, not restricted to the metros or the tier one cities, also in tier two and tier three cities. For the matter of fact, ISKCON Delhi, few disciples have gone to scheduled tribes in Assam, in villages, and they have started school there. They've started some schools there. They have started a kirtan there. They've started a villages with a environment of devotional service. In Indonesia, there is a village called Gita Nagari. So all the Indonesians who have accepted Vaishnavism as the way of life, they are staying there as a family in a town. And then they are doing all those practices which was taught to them by Srila Prabhupada. So then in India, they have got a lot of success. Now we'll try to summarize it. That what is the legacy of Prabhupada? What is that Prabhupada has left behind? You'll see that there are many successful businessmen in this world. They come to this world, they earn some business, and they leave. They leave it for whom? Their family, right? What is that happening? How is that happening? How is that benefiting the entire world? Is it going to suffer? Is it going to release them from the suffering? No. So the Prabhupada established the culture and the legacy. He was thinking, everyone is suffering. We should give them a helping hand. We should not leave them on their own. Because in spirituality, in many organizations, you will see that they are doing meditation, they are doing devotional service, and they are happy, and they leave this world. They do not bother about what's happening with other people. Shouldn't I take the responsibility to take them toward Krishna? Shouldn't I help them? That was the vision of Prabhupada. So started, preaching movement so that every soul who is suffering can be connected towards Krishna. Another culture he has established in temples is that if you visit any ISKCON temple, does not matter which part of the city and which part of the country on this globe that temple is, there is a standardized processes of devotional service that Prabhupada established. 4 to 4:30 or 5 o'clock, you'll have Mangala Aarti in the morning, followed by 2 hours of chanting or japa, followed by Srimad Bhagavatam class or class on Bhagavad Gita, followed by prasadam, then book distribution, and then many, many other activities. So this is the standard devotional service or devotional, programs in the temples Prabhupada has given. That is level of standardization we have seen by Prabhupada's legacy. Now, no one other thing is Prabhupada did is no one temple can pass fund to each other. If I decide right to create a temple, it is my responsibility to raise the fund for this own. I cannot go to other ISKCON temple and ask fund for it. They will not give it because Prabhupada's instructions. You raise the fund on your own. No borrowing between the temples. Another thing, very important thing, what Prabhupada did is, in 1970, he founded GBC. What is GBC? Global, Governing Body Council, GBC. So what is the purpose of this council? So this is a epitome body, the primary body that takes care of the entire ISKCON. And surprisingly, Prabhupada made this body with many members so that no one family can claim to be the head of GBC and run the ISKCON. It is always be a democratic body by few sannyasis, and those sannyasis will get changed over a period of time. And this is how it's being run. So that the malpractitioners of the dynastic politics does not enter into ISKCON. Now, on one last thing. Now we heard about the Prabhupada, his learning, his teachings, his success, right? All those things, his legacy we have learned. There is one thing to notice. If you see in India, You have temples or you have gurus. If you just meet them once, you will say, I want to become your disciple. Please accept me. You will say, okay, okay, come on, come on. From now on, you are my disciple. I am your guru. Done. Now do whatever you want. I'll do whatever I want. Just meet me on, once a year when there is Guru Purnima. Otherwise, it's okay, right? But do they need to follow any hard rules? No, 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 no need, no requirement. So that is still happening in this earth, in this country. If Prabhupada said Mangala Aarti by 4:30 p.m., why 4:30 p.m.? He could have said by 7 p.m., 7 a.m. Everybody is waking up at a good relaxed point of their time, and then they will come to temples and they'll do. Why regulative principles? So hard regulative principles. If we just want the funds of the people, we should create these rules easy, right? Eat whatever you want, right? Just give me 100 rupees or 1,000 rupees every month and do whatever you want. You are my disciple. You can say that you are the disciple of, from this con. But Prabhupada has strict rules. Why strict rules? Because to create the quality. If you want to get into IIT, there is a lot of hard work it has to go there. If you want to take engineering from any ABC engineering college, you can do it. No rules, no challenges. Where there are strict rules, that means the quality is maintained. So ISKCON is like a IIT of a spiritual organization where to get the Diksha in any temple across the globe, you need to have at least 2 years of waiting. They will see you. Are you chanting 16 rounds every day? Are you following four regulative principles? Are you, coming to temple? Are you taking the instruction of spiritual masters? How's your conduct? Then they will decide, okay, I'll give you after 2 years. And for few Maharaj, it is 7 to 8 years. So you can understand the kind of spiritual upliftment which Prabhupada's organization has created with his culture and legacy. ISKCON is living up to that. And we invite all of you to get connected with us to taste the higher taste that we are offering by the mercy of Krishna and Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. I'd like to pause here for any questions.